welcome to All About Steam, Episode 12, GWR 1400 class. Good afternoon and welcome to the last of the GWR episodes. GWR 1400 class is a classic steam locomotive designed by the Great Western Railway for branch line passenger work. It was originally classified as a 4800 class, introduced in 1932, and renumbered in 1946. Although credited to Charles Pollitt, the design date is dated back to 1868 with the introduction of the George Armstrong 517 class. Like the 4800/14XX, the 517 class was a light-rake locomotive for branch line work and was built at Wolverhampton Works between 1868 and 1885. Later gradual changes included bell pier fireboxes, boilers rated at 165 psi, as opposed to the 150 psi boilers. Full cabs, extended bunkers, progressive conversion to short wheelbase locomotives with 15-foot 0 inches or 15-foot 6 inches. From 1924 onward, several were converted to run with an auto coach, and in this configuration, were the direct ancestors of the 4800 class. And in this form, the updated 517s were a small step away from the 4800. The wheelbase was still 15-foot 6 inches. The boiler was still rated at only 165 psi, and the wheels 5-foot 2 inches and 3-foot 8 inches. New was the college-style cab and bunker, and the boiler nominally to a new design. I don't know what to do with build structure at this point. The 3-bar crosshead was added to the motion. This was a 1924 innovation introduced by the GWR 600 class, also seen in the 1930s built 5400, 6400, and 7400 classes of pannier tanks. The 4800 class was designed as a much more modern version of the 517 class, which were then beginning to show their relative age. The first locomotive, number 4800, built by Swindon Works, entered service in 1932, with a further 74 engines of this type following up to 1936. During this period, Swindon also built 20 5800 classes. Okay, I'm going to switch to sandwich, because I don't have to worry about PSI if I size the sandwich. Okay. The 4800 also built 5800 classes, which were broadly similar, but were not fitted with an auto train equipment for the Swindon top feed, as later fitted to a number of 4800 class engines. The 4800 class locomotives retained their original numbers until GWR decided to experimentally convert 12 2800s to 8.0s for oil firing. It was decided that the converted engines would be reclassified as the 4800 class, and so the 75 tank locomotives already carrying this designation were reclassified to the 1400 class with the running numbers 1400 through 1474. The engines did not revert to the original classification after the experiment. After the experiment ended in 1948, they could reach a maximum speed of 80 miles an hour, which was much faster than the diesel rail cars designated to replace them could reach. 1400 class was designated to work with the GWR design of auto coach, such as coach designed for coach control working, and which could also be used with engines of other classes such as the 517s, GWR 5400, GWR 6400, and GWR 2021 class. Oh my god. I swear I didn't read over the script or anything. So that 2021 class was perfect. This lack of auto gear was the cause of earlier scrapping of the 5800 class, as there was no work for them. The last 5815 was withdrawn from Swindon shed in April 1961. The auto-fitted locos fared little better. Scrapping commenced in 1956 and were all withdrawn by early 1965. Numbers 1442 and 1950 were withdrawn from Exmouth Junction Shed in May 1965. By the early 1960s, several had been in store, parked in an out-of-the-way siding with a tarpaulin over the chimney, sometime being occasionally steamed to replace failed diesels. Alright, now it's time for the cabin tour. We're going to do the auto coach first, and then we're going to move on to the 14XLs. Down here we have the sander. Up here we have the throttle. I can never find the reverser. This is the brake. This is the handbrake. Up here we have the bell. Up here we have the bell, and then somewhere here down here. also open and close the doors, but while moving they do auto close. Sorry about that, but no more volume for you guys. I just have to deal with it. Okay, anyways. On with the engine tour. Here we have the brake, the regulator, reverser. Here we have the AWS, blower, both injectors. I think there's another blower, nope, steam heating valve, Mason's valve, whistle, whistle brake, and we have, of course, the bell. There we go. Alright, 4 examples have been reserved, all late withdrawals from service in the 1963 through 1965 period. All went directed to preservation from British Railways in relative good condition. The current location of the preserved examples as followed. 1420 South Devon Railway under overhaul. 1442 Tiverton Museum, Tiverton, Devon, static exhibit. 1450 Severn Valley Railway, stored. 1466 Didcot Railway Centre, under overhaul. Known affectionately as the Tivy Bumper, 1442 hauled the last train to Tiverton in October 1965. All preserved examples, apart from 1442, are fitted with auto train equipment, and 1450 has also operated on the main line in preservation, but due to its size was restricted in the amount of work it could do, and was also restricted on mileage as the 1400s only had a max water capacity of 800 imperial gallons, 3,600 liters, 960 US gallons. During the 1990s, I worked for a number of Dawlish donkey trips from Exeter St. David's to Newton Abbot. I think... Oh, I wish I would have read this because I would have put us at Newton Abbot. Or did we depart from Newton Abbot? We departed from Newton Abbot. We're doing that trip. That makes me happy. None of this was just, oh my. Because look, if we go here, oh, well. Show task, center player, okay. A scene in 1955, Where There's a Will, shows locomotive 1439, arriving at Somerton Railway Station. Fictional 1400 class, Oliver the Great Russian Railway, as 1436 appears in the Great Railway series of children's books written by Reverend W. Awdry, and in the spin-off series Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends. For the television series, he was changed to number 11. 2 of these GWR engines, 1401 and 1450, played prominent roles in the film The Titfield Thunderbolt. Locomotive 1401 started as the main locomotive of the Titfield Mollingford branch until being deliberately derailed and damaged beyond repair. Locomotive 1450, with false number plates fitted, doubled as 1401 for some scenes to allow double the rate of filming, and a fake 14XX, which carried the number 1462, had a brief role as a stolen locomotive, which was later crashed into a tree. 1450 also appeared in the Goodies episode Daylight Robbery of the Orient Express. And lastly, Hornby Railways manufactured a model of the 14XX and 00 gauge. Dapple also manufactured a model of the 14XX for British Engage in 2004, but has since ended production of this model. DJ Models produced the models of the 14XX, 58XX, and 48XX. DAPL and OO gauge locomotives and OO gauge in 2018. DAPL released a version of the 14XX and O gauge in early 2020. Thank you, and have a good night.